Karibu tena to another Envirohation podcast. This is still on the climate change and environmental sustainability series. My name is Wangishi Karemi.
And my name is Bikoro December. I knew that I needed to say my name this time round.
Oh,
Ilikuwa rada.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about ecological services. Now we've had discussions about carbon, we've had discussions about biodiversity, carrying capacity, sustainable development, and we kept saying the services that the environment gives to us. The services that the environment gives to us. What are the services that nature gives to us? So, Bikoro, take it over.
He's me taking it over. So essentially we call them the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, which is a UN sponsored effort to analyze the benefits we derive from nature, identified four services that we gain from nature. And these are regulating services, supporting services, cultural services, and provisioning services.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know that. All right, so we're going to be looking at every one of these services and giving you an exact example so that you can understand what is this service that we're talking about.
Yeah. So provisioning services are the benefits we derive directly from nature. What do you derive directly from nature?
Maembe.
I wanted to say maembe.
Yeah, I know. I just want to eat a mango right now.
December.
That's the mango season.
That's the mango season.
And then it doesn't happen because of climate change. And then you tell us we don't have a reason to complain.
We need
mangoes.
mangoes. Yeah.
So that's an example. Exactly. Provisioning services. What are they?
So we have food, shelter, because like you
it's the providing
what you deriving directly from nature.
Directly, yeah. So nature is providing with you with this directly. That's provisioning services. So it's food. It's also those people who sell things from like nature. That's provisioning service.
Yeah, furniture, timber, fuel as well.
Yeah. So all of those ones are provisioning services, and they are essential because without them you wouldn't eat.
Nothing. Yeah.
Those houses that are built of wood will not be built.
Vegetarian wouldn't have food as well.
Nature.
Yeah, stones are from nature.
Shelter will not be there.
Facts.
Fabric is also from nature. So clothing will not be there. Your basic necessities will not be met if you alter the provisioning aspect
of nature.
Yeah, of nature.
Yeah.
The other one would be regulating. The Kikuyu in me has struggled.
Regulating. You did it.
Oh, you said I.
Regulating.
I'm not saying that word again. So what they do? Oh God, they regulate.
Regulating.
What these services normally do is that they create certain environments for you to exist. We're talking about the
hydrological cycle.
Hey, I'm telling you, the Kikuyu means struggling to do. So the struggle is Kikuyus they struggle with R's and L's. So
that's just being true to your culture. Don't think of it as a
drawback.
It's not a problem.
Just rather pass the information with the right words. So like the cycle. So when it rains, the evaporation, condensation, all of those services that happen in nature is just for it to regulate, so that when it provides for you, it makes it quote unquote habitable. Like for instance, when it rains, crops grow, you get food. Now the raining, that whole cycle of rain from the evaporation to the precipitation itself is a regulating
service from nature.
There are others. There's also
we have the nitrogen cycle, we have the phosphorus cycle.
Yeah. We also have the radiations that we were talking about the other times when we talked about greenhouse gases and global warming. And we're talking about terrestrial radiation, the ability of it to bounce back. So all of these are nature finding a way to make the environment around you habitable for your existence. That is regulated.
It's a regulating service. When you talked about peatland and how it stores carbon, that's another.
That is
another.
One. Yes. So carbon sequestration. Yay! Carbon sequestration is also another
regulating service of nature. Yes. How carbon is stored in pits, in form of pits. Yeah.
All right, another service.
Cultural services.
Oh, this one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Can I take this one?
Yeah.
I love cultural services. So cultural services is the ones I've been talking about in other episodes where we've been saying praying and playing. It's basically how do you derive some sort of leisure from the environment.
Yeah.
So when you go for nature walks, the kind of satisfaction that you get from nature walks, from going to the park, from having animal best friends, to even human best friends, because we are part of this environment and we think about it in an ecocentric kind of way. So all of that is a service, it's a gift packaged by the environment for you. We're also talking about those people who are spiritual in the sense that they believe in the existence. I had a friend of mine tell me about root chakras, how the universe, I don't know, but root chakras, the grounding, and then we have other people who look.
Are they people who advocate walking barefoot? All of those things. We have those people who pray to the mountains, like the Kikuyu of Kenya. They used to pray facing Mount Kenya. So that is a cultural service. Now, without the existence of Mount Kenya, where would you face? Someone will say another mountain. It's still nature. It's still the environment. The fact that it brings you one with your spiritual self is a cultural service that is provided by the environment. And then we have the leisure ones, the walks in the park, they just go into the trees, all of those nice things, those beautiful things. Those are cultural services that you get from the environment. So moving on to the supporting services, these are basically services that we wouldn't live without. For example, photosynthesis. If plants didn't make food, we'd literally have the entire food web collapsing.
It will not even be here
because we can't really utilize the sun's energy directly.
So those are supporting services. They support all of these services that we've mentioned.
The rest of them.
Existence of provisioning services, regulating services, cultural services. So now that we have broken it down to what services are given by nature to us, what is the importance of understanding these services? What is the importance of understanding them?
Well, again, just back to this podcast is about climate and everything. Conservation practices, that's what we're pushing for. We need nature. We can't live without nature. Nature offers us all of these things. So now that we are aware that this is what we get from nature, do we want to not be getting this from nature? We don't want to. Do we want for the future generations to not be enjoying the same benefits you're enjoying right now? We don't want that. So what are we calling for? Environmentalism and sustainability in our practices.
In our day-to-day activities. And also something else without understanding the services is that some people, they don't really think about it per se when they're talking about food, when they're talking about clothing, shelter and everything. But when you really, really think about it, there is nothing that does not come from nature. Even medicine, all right? Before it gets to the lab, it has to come from somewhere. Whether it comes from an animal, it comes from the scales, the shells, the anything. Whether it comes from plants, the roots, the barks, or anything.
Nothing ever comes from nothing, really. Nothing ever comes from nothing.
And its source is always going to be the environment. So if you're not taking care of it, you're just saying, I don't care about myself and anything and everything.
Basically that's what you're saying.
And we need to remember that we exist within this environment. So there's also what we offer, and there's also our role in it. And we need to remember that even as we are going on, even as in our day-to-day activities, we need to remember that we're part of this environment and we have a role to play in it. And our role, we said in the ecological perspectives, is be a stewards. We have one role to take care of this environment.
Imagine we just have that one role and nature is giving us all this. We have so much to gain from nature.
We have so much to gain from nature.
I don't know about you, but if I were engaging in an activity that I know is so beneficial to me, such that I can't live without it, I know I'd keep doing it because I want to keep living.
There's the intrinsic motivation. It's that people normally separate themselves from these services. They forget that the reason as to why you have money in your pocket today is because the farm produced maize. That would not have happened if nature was not being, faithful to
and
providing these things to you. We're talking about the supporting services, the photosynthesis that you just mentioned, cultural services. People underestimate the value of going for a walk and coming back to the house feeling better. They underestimate their own houses that are built of stones that come from the environment.
The environment.
So we all have a role to play in it. And in this podcast, we're trying to advocate for the idea of, knowing, just know that all of these things come from the earth, they come from nature. And it is your responsibility to take care of your environment.
Yeah, if you want it to keep doing what it's doing at the moment.
If you want it to keep giving you those gifts, ecological gifts, also known as ecological services. The provisioning, the supporting,
regulating, and cultural
services. Yeah. This has to be the shortest podcast we've done because it is hitting the nail on the head.
It's so straightforward.
Very straightforward. We've given you the services, we've told you what they do, given you examples. Sit down, think about whatever you're thinking about, and put it in one of those 4 categories. And even though you don't, just find a way to connect it to nature because it's interconnected.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.